Greetings viewers, you're in for a treat this evening because you've stumbled across me just in time for my Pokemon themed Halloween special. Anyways, a creepy countdown such as this one is far too terrifying to go out alone, so I've got my good friend Truegreen7 here today to help me narrate. Go ahead and say hello to the nice people, Truegreen. For the love of...
Hey guys, Truegreen7 here, and today I'm gonna... Wait, why am I stuck on your TV?
Because you're gonna help me with my top 10 video, remember?
Well, yeah, but I don't see why I need to be...
Why don't you go ahead and tell our audience what we've got in store for them?
Okay, well, in the Pokemon universe, it's pretty much well known that some Pokemon have a crazy amount of power. And it just so happens that this power can be so great that it would be insanely dangerous if applied in the real world.
That's why we've decided to figure out which Pokemon are the absolute most deadly and explain to you guys why this is the case.
Also, disclaimer, we decided to leave out all the legendary Pokemon out of this list just to keep things fair, because they're obviously very powerful. Now that that's been said, you guys can kick back and watch our video. Enjoy! Number 10. Litwick. This adorable candle may not seem intimidating, but if these little guys were real, they'd pose one of the greatest threats us humans have ever seen. This may seem strange since most would assume Lampent and Chandelure to be more terrifying, but this actually isn't the case. Chandelure may scorch everything in the metagame, but realistically, Litwick is the most lethal. This is because, according to the Pokedex, Litwick can take the form of various light sources in order to guide whomever uses it. This sounds innocent, but what Litwick is really doing as it guides you is slowly sucking your life force away, ultimately leading to your death. So if you ever needed to use a flashlight, candle, etc., there's a possibility that there'd be a Litwick close by waiting to kill you. Many people are afraid of the dark, but personally, this Pokemon makes me afraid of the light.
Number 9, Gastrodon. Gastrodon is probably one of the least likely Pokemon you would have expected to see on this list because A, he's one of the most forgettable Pokemon out there, and B, he looks like an immobile, harmless slug. Sea slug. That's actually what the game classifies it as. But aside from his squishy appearance, Gastrodon has regenerative properties that are sure to make your jaw drop. While modern lizards and other miscellaneous creatures can regenerate specific body parts over a period of time in real life, Gastrodon can regrow any part of its body almost instantly. You can cut off a lizard's head, but, you know, it'll die, but if you cut off a Gastrodon's head, getting a new one is as easy as giving the creature a few seconds. Gastrodon also has a pretty scary move pool that would wreak havoc on our puny human bodies. This slug can create earthquakes practically anytime it wants, which is quite deadly considering how hard the beast is to take out. You'd have to destroy absolutely every trace of a Gastrodon in order to stop its regeneration abilities. Now, imagine an army of Gastrodon. It'd be the end of the world as we know it, as we'd be at the mercy of a bunch of indestructible, earthquaking machines.
Number 8. Gyarados. Gyarados is a Pokemon that has always been feared by trainers due to his admirable power and menacing look. But exactly how deadly is Gyarados? Let's just say he has anger problems that have led to the destruction of many villages and cities. As stated by the Pokedex, it is capable of destroying entire cities in a rage. So really, all it takes for this Pokemon to be deadly is for it to be ticked off. The Pokedex also states that these rampages can last a whole month, and that a Gyarados can become enraged simply by appearing. Furthermore, if you take a look at Gyarados' move pool, you'll find a ridiculous amount of deadly attacks. Hyper Beam, Stone Edge, and Fire Blast are just a few of these attacks that you'd have to endure if you came face to face with one. Easily angered and insanely destructive, this is one Pokemon that you don't ever want to encounter.
Number 7, Grimer and Muck. Through the eyes of many people, Grimer and Muck are seen as foul, disgusting abominations, and rightfully so, since these guys are very harmful and destructive. Starting with Grimer, you'll find that the Pokemon is very toxic, but the worst part about that is that the Pokemon multiplies. Smaller chunks that fall off Grimer become, well, more Grimer. Therefore, more harmful toxins for us and the environment to withstand. Next, we've got Muck, whose toxicity levels aren't really specified, but given the information that comes from the Pokedex, I think we can conclude that Muck is one poisonous blob of Well, Muck. For starters, the fluid that oozes off of Muck's body is so deadly that it kills plants and trees instantly on contact. A number of Muck could absolutely decimate the environment, which is bad news for us since we kinda sorta need an environment to survive. Plus, given Muck's gelatinous form, it's likely that the Pokemon can easily squeeze into and travel through tight spaces or sealed off areas, allowing Muck to spread faster. To conclude, areas touched by Muck are unable to sustain life for years, making it impossible for us to regrow the trees and plants that we oh so desperately need before it's too late.
Number 6, Yanmega. Have you ever heard of a Pokemon that could kill a man just by being next to him? Well, now you have, because Yanmega can do exactly that. If you take a look at the Pokemon Diamond Pokedex entry for Yanmega, you'll read, by churning its wings, it creates shock waves that inflict critical internal injuries to foes. This is interesting, considering that most of Yanmega's existence consists entirely of it flying and churning its wings. And don't count on outrunning this Pokemon either, for it can reach outstanding speeds. On top of this, Yanmega's speed boost ability makes it even faster the longer it sticks around. Since that's the case, it would make sense to assume that the faster Yanmega got, the faster its wings would churn, thus dealing more damage. The Pokedex also states that Yanmega is more than capable of carrying an adult human in flight, which is also unsettling since it further states that Yanmega tries to tear apart its foes' heads. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the world's first beheading dragonfly.
Number 5, Electrode. What's your favorite pastime? Do you enjoy long walks on the beach? Or perhaps reading or watching television is more your fancy? Or maybe when you're bored you like to blow everything in sight into a million f***ing pieces? Well, at least that's what Electrode likes to do. Seriously, when an Electrode is bored, it'll explode just to amuse itself. This explosion doesn't even kill the Pokemon, no. The Electrode simply faints. Just give it a little bit more time, and Electrode will be good as new, ready to explode over and over again. It's a mobile bomb ball, and a very fast one I might add. Electrode with a base speed of 140 makes it one of the fastest Pokemon alive. So, in an instance that an Electrode wants you dead, your friend might see one in the distance and say, "Hey, what's that?" But before you have enough time to respond, the damage has already been done. Let's also try not to forget that while being a ticking time bomb, Electrode is also armed with many volts of electricity. It's impossible to say how many, but judging by the fact that it stores an overflowing amount of electric energy inside its body and even a small shock makes it explode, I think we can conclude that the amount of volts it has is, well, a lot. Electrodes are also catastrophic towards our sources of electricity since they're known to cause mass blackouts while near power plants. This would cause serious problems since nowadays we're so dependent on electricity. But Electrode don't care. He gives absolutely no f***s.
Number 4, Alakazam. You know that old saying, brain over brawn?
Yeah.
Well, it's debatable that brain beats brawn, but in Alakazam's case, he always comes on top. Always. We're talking an IQ of 5,000. All of the strength in the world is no match for an intelligence that high. In fact, I can't think of anything that is. To put things into perspective, someone with an IQ of approximately 160 is considered a genius. Imagine what an IQ of 5,000 is capable of. Well, clearly, telekinetic abilities are a result of such intellect. But on top of that, Alakazam will always outsmart its enemies on the battlefield. If Alakazam were to wage a war against the human race, we'd have to throw everything we've got at it, because there is no tactical way to take down an Alakazam. Its tactics would always reign superior, and this Pokemon will always be several steps ahead of you. Come at me, bro!
Number 3, Dusclops. In Pokemon Y, Dusclops' Pokedex entry reads, "It is said that those who look into its body are sucked into the void." Interpret that however you like, but the dark, scary truth is that Dusclops is a walking, breathing black hole. But what do I know? After all, that text description is kind of vague. Maybe it's just folklore or an old urban rumor, or maybe the term void doesn't refer to a black hole at all, or maybe... oh, scratch that. Turns out that Dusclops is indeed a black hole. To help you understand how dangerous a black hole really is, I'll explain exactly what one does. Come close enough to one and you're dead. Black holes pull everything including light into them with an immense gravitational pull. Scientists say there is no way to survive a black hole's abduction. Therefore, there is no way to survive staring at a Dusclops. Make direct eye contact and you're as good as gone. There's also no size limit as to what Dusclops can absorb. Finally, if you do somehow miraculously escape Dusclops' void of doom, this Pokemon's got other tricks up its sleeves. It can hypnotize victims by simply waving its hands, thus making you a puppet and forcing you to do all of Dusclops' bidding. This, folks, is why I refuse to believe in ghosts. You can't hurt me if I don't believe in you!
Number 2. Metang and Metagross. Its steel body won't be scratched if it collides with a jet. That's the sentence you will read if you look up Metang's Pokedex entry in Pokemon X. That's incredibly bulky. Some jets such as the SR-71 Blackbird can reach speeds of up to 2,000 miles per hour. And you're telling me crashing one of those things into a Metang won't even leave a scratch on the Pokemon? Get out of town. No. Literally leave. Seriously leave. I don't want to see your face. What's even more ridiculous is that Metang gets tougher as he evolves into Metagross, who surely has bulk that I can't even begin to imagine. Then Metagross likely gets bulkier due to his Mega evolution. At this stage, it wouldn't surprise me if the Pokemon could easily withstand a nuclear blast. If these facts haven't blown your mind yet, you should know that Metagross is not only the tankiest thing alive, but also one of the smartest. Metagross has 4 brains that make him as smart as a supercomputer. There is virtually nothing wrong with this guy. This Pokemon is smarter than us, by far stronger than us, and likely has the potential to bring the human species to extinction. Metagross truly is an unstoppable killing machine.
Number 1, Ditto! Now, this might seem like the most cliche and anticlimactic choice for the list, but once you get right down to it, Ditto is the ultimate weapon. Far greater than your beloved superheroes and Super Saiyans alike, Ditto is the definition of all-powerful. If you're new to Pokemon and have no idea what this pasty blob is capable of other than staring a hole directly into your soul, let me educate you on the matter. Ditto is everything. He's omnipotent, and by that I mean Ditto can transform into anyone or anything that it looks at and registers into its memory. In the Pokemon game series, Ditto is only seen transforming into other Pokemon, but technically it is stated that it can do more than that. Whether it be a nuclear warhead or an entire supernova capable of destroying the entire planet, Ditto is more than capable of transforming into it. Not to mention he could transform into any other Pokemon that I previously mentioned on this list, so there's that. This may seem like the cheapest way possible to determine the world's deadliest Pokemon, but hey, I'm not calling these shots. It's just the way it is. I dare you to tell Ditto that he's not the deadliest. Go ahead, look into those beady little eyes and break it to him. It's your funeral.
Thanks for watching, everyone. If the concept of deadly Pokemon was a little too heavy and dark for you guys, click here to see my top 10 cutest Pokemon video. I'm sure it'll brighten up your day. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel and also Almighty Mandals if you want to see more content similar to this.